Morning. Oh dear. I am still feeling a bit run down, like I'm not 100%. When I was editing yesterday's video, which would be Wednesday's video, I was editing, I'm thinking, what a miserable bugger this guy is. If nobody's ever clicked onto my YouTube channel before and that's the first video that they've seen, it's not good. All I done was complain about stuff. I think the gist of what I was complaining about was some days in my area, it's really nice to have the country roads that twist and turn through the hills, and it's really nice and pleasant, but days when you've got sort of more than a day's work to do, it can be really frustrating. And I think that's where my frustrations were. The fact that I was spending more time driving than I was actually technically doing my job. So right, that's the phone now. I'm gonna get that. I'll tell you what we're doing today. Right, from when I last spoke to you to when I'm speaking to you now, I'm on site at this 160 high track. So about 10 days ago, the owner phoned us, had an engine management light on, and I basically looked up the code at home and went through the troubleshooting guide for it. Basically, the troubleshooting guide said, other than checking for exhaust leaks, put it into a forced regen, and if the forced regen clears the error codes, then issue resolved, return machine to use. So that's what happened, but this fault codes came on another 2 or 3 times since then, and it has done this morning. But when I was halfway over here, he phoned us to say, oh, error codes disappeared again, and he had done a regen. So there's definitely something amiss with it. I just need to find what it is. It's got to be something somewhere that's causing this code to come on. So I'll put my laptop on it and we'll have a chat about what the possible causes could be. All right, so we're gonna have a look at this error code here. The machine has logged a few error codes actually. If I just clear that out of the way for a minute. There's quite a few. There's a couple to do with rail deviation. Fuel pressure's been lower than desired, basically. I remember him phoning us about that, and a set of fuel filters cured that, so we don't need to worry about that. We've got an inducement warning here. We've got Adblue pressure stabilization error as well, but that looks to have only happened 200 hours ago, so I'm not sure whether we need to be concerned about that just yet. But this is the one that keeps coming back, this SCR efficiency too low. So I've had a good read up about this. Basically it's saying that the NOx conversion efficiency is too low, and it does a sort of diagnostic test during the machine's running, and if it falls below the value 6 times in a row, then that's when this fault occurs. But say if it falls below the value 5 times and on the 6th time it is okay, then there'll be no fault logged. So over the last 10 days this fault's occurred 3 times, which would tell you that there is a fault somewhere. So it's telling us not to just delete the error code and leave, because there's still an underlying fault, which I would agree with. I'm going to go through the troubleshooting guide now. Is the code detected? Yes, go to step 2. Let the machine be parked in a safe area, go to step 3. So we're on to step 3. If there's any other codes happen together, check the other codes prior to this code. So if you take that at face value, there is no other codes on here that have occurred at the same time. So we'll continue on to step 4. Step 4 is saying check the exhaust pipeline, is there any leakage? So I'm going to go and check the exhaust system, see if we can spot any sort of sooty marks around joints and things like that while the engine's not running. And then if I can't see anything, we'll have the engine running and just see if we can feel any exhaust leaks. However, I think there's a step missing, because at the top here, possible causes, check if the Adblue concentration is okay. But what it's saying, that the cause could be bad Adblue. Top cause is a NOx sensor fault. an electrical problem, bad Adblue, and then the SCR has failed altogether. Worst case scenario. So yeah, I'm just, because it's easy and quick, I'm going to just check the Adblue first. So it's always a good place to start on any Adblue fault, just checking that the Adblue concentration is what it should be. I'll try and get this to focus. You can see there it's absolutely bang on the mark, or as near as, damn it. So I'm sure with this software on this laptop, I'll be able to see what the machine thinks the Adblue quality is. We can just compare that with the refractometer here. So that's what I'm going to do next. You can see the Adblue quality, where is it? Def quality, second from the top, 31.9946%. So that's pretty much near as, damn it, to being close. If it was sort of more than 5% out, I'd be a bit concerned about the quality sensor in the tank, but it seems to be okay. So obviously we haven't got any quality issues either at the moment, so I'm inclined to believe that that is correct. So yeah, next I'm gonna just have a quick scan over the engine, take the exhaust cover off and just check all the sensors are plugged in correctly and make sure that the exhaust pipes aren't leaking anywhere. So I think this is probably the first time I've had an exhaust cover off this latest generation, the Dash 7s. I tell a lie, I did have a look at an Adblue injector on a 210, and that's got a bigger exhaust cover. And that's a two-man job to lift that exhaust cover off, because I did try on my own and then the operator saw I was struggling and he came and gave us a hand. This one here, I just managed to get it off. I just managed to. But yeah, this is your after treatment system. So exhaust gas leaves the engine here, passes by this sensor down here, which is your downstream knock sensor, and then your exhaust comes in down there, if you can see it. This is your DOC, and then you've got your SCR, and then you've got your DPF, and it goes out. So this bit here is where the Adblue is injected. The DOC, diesel oxidizing catalyst, that's what sort of on the post injection. So on the exhaust stroke, the injectors will fire off a bit of diesel, and that diesel will come through the exhaust and hit the DOC, which then brings temperature up in the exhaust. And then you've got the SCR, which is where your Adblue's injected into, and then it goes into here where all the soot's collected, and it goes out, and every sort of, I think in the book it says 120 to 140 hours, this exhaust will get nice and toasty. It'll burn all the soot off into ash, and it all goes out the exhaust. So what I'm looking for is any signs of exhaust leaks sort of around all the joints, any sort of smears of black soot. At the moment I can't see anything the matter, but I'll have a right good investigate now. Right, next thing I'm doing is just checking the resistance in the CAN wires for the knox sensors. We've got pretty much 60 ohms on the outlet knox. I'll just check the downstream knox sensor down there, which is here. I'll just check the wire in there, make sure that's good. So wiring for the knox sensors appears to be okay. Another thing it's telling me to check is that make sure that the outlet knox sensor isn't plugged into where the downstream knox sensor and vice versa. I've mentioned it before, but the way to remember it is this is black, which suggests dirty, and the downstream knox sensor here, the upstream one here, is grey, or yeah, we'll call that grey. That suggests that the air is clean coming out. So they are connected correctly. I think the next step now is to run it up and see what the knox sensors are actually reading. Hopefully we'll see a discrepancy, because I've got a feeling that this one here is faulty or not reading correctly, and my only suspicion is because it's right in that tailpipe there, which again there is a chance that it is exposed to the elements, but it would definitely be the first case on a new Dash 7 that we've got a knock sensor failure. So while I've got the machine running, I'm just waiting for the knock sensors to wake up, which is up here. It's still reading 0 at the minute, but down here I should be able to see, remember the Adblue concentration? It's actually spot on there now, so obviously I'm happy with that. Adblue pressure is stable, so that's good. I mean, everything looks okay at the moment, but it's the knock sensors I'm going to be keeping an eye on shortly. So you can see it's woken up now. This one here is the downstream knocks, and this one here is the upstream knocks. So this is the one here coming out the engine. This one here is what's coming out the tailpipe, I think. Downstream, upstream. Yeah. So up the stream. So if the exhaust gas is water flowing down a stream, the start is your upstream, isn't it? So that's that one here, yeah. And then your downstream, which is one at the tailpipe, is there. There doesn't seem to be much difference. About 20. At one point they were kind of matching. I'm recording the frame, so I'll be able to put it in an Excel spreadsheet and see the difference between them. I'll just keep an eye on that for a while now. So the machine's been running about 20 minutes now, and if you remember what I was saying about the downstream and upstream, my downstream, which is the one in the tailpipe, is reading 197 parts per million. The upstream, so that's at the engine side, is reading 133. So somehow the emissions coming out of all that after treatment is dirtier than what's coming straight out the engine. Now what I am going to need to check is that although they are the correct sensors, I need to check that the wiring is getting pinned to the correct point on the ECU, because if the wiring is mixed up in a plug, then that would explain why it's the wrong way around, wouldn't it? But I am still inclined to think I've got a faulty knock sensor. So the time, oh god, look at that, it's 10 to 1. The morning really has gone quick. I'm going to head back through to Carlisle now. On my way back into Carlisle, there's a couple of dumpers that I can get ticked off the list. And then what I'll do tomorrow, I'll go and do the other pressure switches that I haven't done yet. I'll order a new knock sensor for that digger, and tomorrow afternoon we'll pop back over here and do that knock sensor, because he isn't long left in this woods before he's moving to another site, and that other site is like another hour and a half from here. So it's only an hour and 7 minutes to get here, whereas where I've been moving to, you've been knocking on towards 2 hours. So I'd sooner come back here and spend the afternoon putting a sensor in it rather than going away ways to go and do it. So that's my plan. I'll order that sensor just now. We might even have one on the shelf at Carlisle, but I certainly don't have one on the van, which I thought I might have had a chance of having one. So yeah, I'll head back through to Carlisle now. Right, I'm at this dumper for a Lola ticket, and this is the sort of stuff that would fail a safety certificate. That's going to need a new clicker. I'll check the machine over for how else that it's going to need and let them know, but for now that's enough just to fail it all together. Right, so I've just written up the notes for that dumper failure on the seat belt. So I've got a seat belt in stock at the yard. I'll grab that and I'll return tomorrow. and fit the seat belt and go from there. All right, now one of my colleagues has been having a bit of a fight on with a 6-ton digger up in the borders. He's been on the phone to us a couple of times, and I think possibly the ECU's playing up. Now I have got an ECU on the van, but there is a fault with it. It's for the cold start device, but I thought I'll keep it because it's just got the one fault on it and it does allow the machine to start and run normally, but with the cold start fault it just means that it'll only, what does it do? I think idle is set to 1100 RPM instead of the 800, 900, whatever it is on those Yanmar engines. So I kept hold of it just as a get out of jail card, just in case I get a failed ECU and the machine's in a bad bit, I can sort of get it to roadside. So before I go any further, I'm just going to give him a phone and see if he needs it, because I could meet him halfway and it'd only be sort of half an hour to go and meet him. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do next, I think. Right, so I'm going to go and meet my colleague sort of halfway up the road to where he's having a bit of a fight on with the breakdown. So I would imagine that'll be it for the day. But yeah, hopefully it gets him sorted. That's the main thing, isn't it? All I've got on is those reworks on those pressure switches for the rest of the afternoon, so they can easily wait till the morning. And yeah, he's got a machine down, so hopefully he'll be able to rule out it being an ECU, or he'll be able to prove it's an ECU, one of the two. So that's where I'm heading anyway. Right, change of plan. We met up and we've decided I'll go up and troubleshoot this job with him, because obviously we're having a hard time of it. So 2 hands make light work, is that what they say? Right, we're way up on top of this hillside. That's where the digger, it was running yesterday and then it just stopped. We tried that ECU, it didn't get it going, but I put my diagnostics software on it and it looks like it's the rack actuator. I'm stood on top of here just to get a phone signal to get price and availability. So yeah, that's what we're up to. That's what we're up to. We're gonna pack up and head back to the vans now, but at least we know what it is now. So they get to put the digger back together and I get the other parts. It's ready up here. Well, we're all fairly windswept, and I think my pal there, he's sort of had enough of the day after what just happened there. So yeah, that price of that bit, I'm not going to tell you how much it was, but incredible, absolutely incredible, the price of it. But yeah, that's a story for another day. Right, it's 28 minutes past 5. I've got about an hour or so, just over an hour, I'll be home. So it's not been a bad day put in, I've quite enjoyed it. Right, I'll see you in the morning. How's it going? It is Friday morning at last. I'm just on site. I've got 2 dumpers side by side, so I've not even had to persuade someone to park it up for 5 minutes while I change these pressure sensors. So we'll make hay while the sun shines and we'll crack on. But yeah, just having a look at this one that I'm on with just now. I'll drop the phone. Looking at this one here, the digger driver came over and said he greased them the other day and he spotted some broken grease nipples. So broken grease nipple on there, and on this one over here there's one on the blooming pivot in the centre They're a different thread to the Doosan ones, and I've only got Doosan grease nipples on the van, so I'll have to... I'm probably best to get half a dozen, aren't I? Then I've got some... So that's 2 jobs off the list, and it's not even 9 o'clock yet. Great start. I'm going to head back through to the yard now and pick up the seat belt for that 6-tonner that I looked at yesterday. 6-ton dumper. The knock sensor should be in, so I'll put the seat belt on that 6-tonner. There's another 6-ton dumper that's got an error code, so I'll go and get a look at that, and then once I finish that I can head back over to the northeast and put that knock sensor on that 160. Right, this 6-ton dumper's got a fault code on it, which I'm led to believe is for the throttle pedal. There's no there at the minute. Shall we just see if it'll go? Put my seatbelt on, look. It's alright there now. Oh, it's working, look, I fixed it. I just needed to turn up. Huh. It's okay. I sent us a picture this morning of error code on it, and it's to do with the throttle pedal, so I'll maybe just clean all the muck out from under this throttle pedal maybe. You can see if the felt codes for the throttle pedal, I mean it's working alright, it's got the full travel, but I'll just clear all the muck out from under here, make sure I haven't got any water in a plug that's sort of making the fault come on. I've taken the throttle pedal out, I'll just give it a bit more clean up. The pins for the plug look okay, so maybe just a build up of muck under it, I don't know. But yeah, I can check the potentiometer's working, so I can do a resistance check through it. I'll do that, just to make sure that it seems alright. I would imagine it'll be like a 5 volt system, so I'll just check the resistance through it. Well, I've put my multimeter across the pins in there and it looks alright. I plugged it back in, having cleaned it out, and it's revving up, so here's the phone now. This is going to ruin my plans for the day, no doubt. Right, last done for the day, seatbelt. Easy peasy, and then we'll go and do this 160. We're getting on well today, 20 to 11. I'm just pulling up into the woods now. I don't think I recorded it for my YouTube. I took a picture on for Instagram, but the owner of the digger, he had to nip into the village to get some supplies, and he says, oh, there's a good baker's in the village, do you want out? I says, well, I got on, then I'll have a bacon roll. So he fetched a bacon roll back for his blessing. Anyway, I didn't make any bake this morning because occasionally on a Friday I like to treat myself, so I thought I'll pop to the baker's. I only wanted I thought I'll get a roll and I'll get a cake. So the roll likely comes with crisps and a bit of salad, and bloody hell, like the cakes. Look at the size of them, huge. So I've fetched my digger driver a cake. So we're even Stevens again. I don't like going for anything like, you know. Right, we'll have a spot of lunch once we get in here, and we'll put this knock sensor in this digger. Bloody hell, that was good. Like, I might just before I leave this digger, I might just crack a pipe off so I've got an excuse to come back over here, because that is the best thing I have eaten this year. And I'm not just saying that. I can't think of anything else that I've eaten this year that has been as good as that roll. And I ordered a roll because I didn't know how big they were. Sometimes a roll's just a roll, isn't it? I didn't realise it was going to be as big and whatnot. I got myself a pasty as well, but yeah, I'll maybe just put that in my loud fridge and keep hold of that for Monday's bait. Like, I think I'm gonna have to tackle that one tonight. That cake. Hellfire! I just need a good lie down now. Yeah. Oh dear. Every time I get the camera out to do my little bit, he says, "Oh, just let us know, then I don't get on YouTube." Right. I'm hoping that today's visit is going to be a case of fitting that, running it at a high idle for 20 minutes like we did yesterday, and we should see the parts per million should be lower in the downstream than it was in the upstream. That is what I'm hoping. Right, downstream knock sensors fitted, and I'm just waiting for the knock sensors to wake up. I think it took about 5 minutes last time, so I'll show you what the results are either way. Right, we're looking good now, look. Yeah, downstream knocks is reading less than the upstream knocks, which is what it should be doing. So I'm just recording this as evidence to prove that the sensor has appeared to have fixed the issue, hopefully. Right, we've been going now for about 20 minutes, half an hour, and everything appears to be okay. So I'm going to shut the machine down and put all these covers back on. Nice end to the week, isn't it? Having something sorted. So it's that time of the week again. I've just pulled into the yard. It is 4:45, so what I'll do is I'll load up for Monday morning. I'll get a load of filters on the van, a load of oil on the van, and we'll have Monday to look forward to. We'll be spinning filters in a quarry, so some big gear to go and service. So that's something to look forward to over the weekend. So yeah, hopefully I've been a little bit more upbeat in this video. Everything's gone to plan for a change. So if you enjoyed this video, let me know by giving it the thumbs up button. There's a like button down there somewhere, I don't know where. And 50% of my viewers, or 49% of my viewers should I say, haven't subscribed yet. So if you haven't subscribed and you've been watching the videos a while, just click that subscribe button. It doesn't cost anything at all to subscribe to the channel. It just sort of boosts the impact of my videos, and it spreads them out to a wider audience, and it sort of starts to snowball, hopefully. So yeah, if you enjoy the videos, give them a subscribe and a like. Right, have a good weekend everyone, and we'll see you nice and fresh on Monday morning. See ya.